Hey, this is Stacia, and we are going to look at set 7 of my flashcards. So it's Flashcard Method video, and flashcard number 1 is entitled Winning Move. So the question is, White has a winning move. What is it, and why is it winning? Okay, so if you want to pause your video, go ahead. Okay, so I did review these before the video, so I'm going to present the answers. The answer to this one is rook to b1. Now, this is a tempo on the queen, and it's offering the a pawn as a sacrifice. But black is so far behind in development that they really cannot afford to lose more time. And the real resource is that once this queen moves out of the way, we then have this check. So notice how the rook pushed the queen off that square. So we're going to check, and you're saying, okay, fine, black can just, put their bishop on d7. But here's the point. Now we can trade. We're dragging the king out. Notice we're punishing black is what this flashcard is. And since we moved the rook to b1, we can now crash in with our rook. This is a very, very good position. I do not think that this king can come out here. That just looks insane. So he probably has to come back and guard this. But here, I would imagine we have lots of winning moves. I thought queen c1, and it was one of the top engine moves. Just saying, like, hey, we're going to come in here and and checkmate you. So that was the winning line. Let's go to the next one. Okay, flashcard number 2. I've got to turn the answer off. This one's entitled Two Knights Exchange Sack Critical Moment. Yeah, and this one is a critical position from my Tuesday tussle game against Van Zendwijk. And I played bishop to f3 in this game, which is an interesting move. But why is the move actually a mistake? You get 1 point if you can say why it's a mistake. And number 2 is, what are the other forcing candidate moves, and give an evaluation for each one. And I'll just say that if you give 2 or 3, I think that's good enough. So if you want to pause your video and do that, go ahead and do so now. Okay, so I thought I was being super clever when I played bishop to f3 because I thought it was a bit of a fork. I'm threatening queen e4 check followed by mate. I'm also threatening the pawn, and he cannot take my queen, as tempting as it might be, because he would get checkmated. So I loved this move. I was like, look at me, I'm the best. But I'm actually the worst, because this move is not a good move. It's interesting, it's just not good. The reason it's not good is because we're relying on this queen e4 check idea, but white can simply play d3. And after d3, there's no queen e4 check anymore. So that's pretty annoying. And on top of that, now he can take the queen next, because after check, the king would actually step out. It's not mate. So we can't do that either. So that is the reason why. And I was planning to take a pawn here. But, yeah, let's see. What actually happened? I don't remember what actually happened in the game. So I'm going to use the engine. I wanted to take this, but now what? Why can't I do that? It just says h3, bishop e7, bishop e7. I guess he can't really take because I take the rook. So bishop e7, and he could take this, right? Oh, that's bishop e2. Sorry. Bishop e7 is this bishop. Okay. That makes more sense. And I guess, you know, black still has a little bit of advantage here. This looks really complicated to me, though. Yeah, and in the game, I didn't navigate the complications good enough. And I actually, yeah, like I think I went here. Instead of bishop e7, I think I went here. No, wait. Yeah, I think he went h3. I went here or something. Threatening mate, and then he just like took that, or no, that's, I wouldn't have played it then, but I did it at some point. Okay. So the answer though is that after d3, this just isn't that great of a move. We have better. So the candidate moves you should be identifying are the checks, captures, and tempo moves. So let's look at them. This is a check, so that is a candidate move. This is a capture, plus it wins a pawn and attacks the bishop, so that's definitely a candidate move. And there's also the move bishop to e7 because it attacks the queen. So all of those moves are candidate moves. Now let's evaluate them. So I do recall that they're all good moves. Every single one of them is better than bishop f3. So that's probably why I made this flashcard. My personal favorite is to take here. I like this one a lot. It's simple. We have a threat. We want a pawn. And after knight c3, we actually just have a good position. We can just go knight to c6 is the engine move. And the knight is headed to d4, where we're threatening a lot of stuff. Like once the queen moves, we might go check here. We might go check here when the queen, like we might go b4, attack the knight. We might go bishop e7. It's just like a lot for white to handle, and it's in fact winning. The other winning move is to check. Just check here. And like, let's say he goes to d1. We can now check on f3. Okay, so we're deeper in the position. And after this, we can check again if we want to. But once again, the computer gives the move knight to c6 with the same idea. Knight d4 is coming in. And if they go c3, trying to stop that, wow, I'm actually kind of baffled at this next thing. We go knight d4 anyway, and it's like winning. Wow, so they cannot take the knight because of e takes d4 or queen e4 check. Oh, we're opening the e file. You see that? We're opening the e file. That's going to be too much. So now d3 is not good enough because we have, wow, it says bishop b4 check. I am totally missing the engine moves, but this is good enough. After bishop to e3, we actually can get our material back, but we don't even have to take it yet. We can play check, knight c3, and now we can, wow, now we can take here because if they take back, that's a fork. So they can't take back. And we can actually play, wow, there are crazy tactics in this position. This is insane. Queen d8 check. What? How on earth? Oh, I'm sorry. That's the white move. They're saying this is the best move. That's why it didn't really occur to me. I thought we were going to do this. You know, that looks insane. So what should white do? They can't really take. I guess they could go. I mean, the computer's just trying to give away the queen. Let's try to give a real move. You know, let's say this, you know, please trade queens. We're defending the rook at least. But here we just take the bishop, check, they take, and now we have discoveries, right? So we just go, wow, actually we could just do this, checkmate. That is quite nice. So look at the ideas there. Very, very cool stuff. The last one was bishop to e7 is also a good move. It's not quite as strong as the other ones, but it's pretty good. I think here this doesn't work. I mean, I would definitely assess this, right? Because my queen's hanging. So they just took a bishop, then they get my queen, but look, we get a rook, and then we get the bishop too. So that's a little too good. So after bishop e7, I think white would need to, you know, move the queen. Let's just try to play a safe move, like queen g3, right? That looks pretty decent. And if queen g3, well, let's look at this too. Hang on a second. Let's look what happens if they take the queen. Well, we throw in this intermezzo. So once again, the king has to move. Only then do we take the queen. And can they even save the bishop? Yeah, knight c3. Saves the bishop. This is some crazy stuff. So they can't take the queen and they can't take the bishop. They probably have to just move the queen. So this is the top engine defense, queen g3. So now I think the queen is attacked, but maybe here I have queen e4 check. Actually, I don't probably because of queen e3, right? Actually, king d1 works now because we don't have the follow-up check. So the correct thing to do is to take the pawn now. This one does work. And after knight to c3, we go same thing, knight to c6. We're jumping in. We're jumping in again. So, and you saw those crazy ideas. Yeah, and you know, so it turns out that I think part of the reason this move is so strong is because it does mean that we're going to get the knight here, and it will be unchallenged there by a pawn, I mean. So okay, well, I hope that was educational. It is for me. Every time I look at those lines, I feel like I learned something new. Let's do one last flashcard. Okay, this one is called Two Knights Sideline. It's an opening flashcard. So I hope you guys don't mind if you don't play this. So the first question is, what is this opening called? And the second question is, how should we continue? Get 1 point each. So this is the Ovested variation of the Two Knights defense. And I will actually show you how we get this position. It comes from the Italian game, so e4, e5, knight f3, knight here, Italian game, and knight f6. So the move that I play against this is knight to g5. Fisher said this is the only way to keep an advantage for white. And after d5, plugging up this diagonal, we take that, and the normal move is knight to a5, attacking the bishop. So now if we try to like take here and play check after the king takes, that won't work because the knight will just take the bishop. So usually we go check here, and that's actually the normal way it goes. But black has other moves here. They actually have this move. And this is the move in the position. This is called the Ovested variation. The other moves that are available to black are knight to d4. That's definitely a move. And there's also this. Knight takes pawn, which a lot of scholastic players do this as a blunder because they don't know what they're doing. Because we can take now, and after king takes, queen f3 check is a fork. And this is the fried liver attack. So the king must defend the knight. And from here, it's a pretty crazy game. All right, so let's go back. All right, so it's the two knights Alvestead variation. Now, how should we continue? I definitely remember the move here. It's bishop to f1. So that is the correct answer. Now, you might be thinking, why don't we take the pawn? Or why don't we take the knight? Both these moves look reasonable. Well, if we take the pawn, now the queen comes in, that attacks the bishop, defends the knight. And yes, we can do this. This we can do. And I would even consider queen f3 here. If queen f3, can they go e4 though? I don't like it as much after e4, but I guess we go here. There is no rook b8, at least not yet. And okay, they're gonna go here, and this looks a little scary. But that is playable. Taking the knight is not really advised. Black is fine here. This pawn's actually really annoying. I've had this position before. So the best continuation in the main line is bishop to f1. So we're guarding b2 because oftentimes, you know, the queen comes and attacks that. Don't forget, our knight will get kicked away at some point, so we need our knight to be okay. And after, let's say they do the same thing here, if they play queen takes d5 in this position, we can now go knight to c3, which is nice. I'm wondering now why we couldn't do that before. Like, what if takes here? Oh, because of the b pawn. Yeah. So this is sharp and very good for black. Oh, in fact, the only move right now is queen to f3. That's pretty interesting. We have to counterattack the knight, I guess. And this saves the rook. So why is rook if we do this, they have this very strong move, bishop to g4. And our queen is trapped. Ouch. That would be unfortunate. We have to go knight e2 and block, but this is starting to look very sad. I mean, I'm also thinking about this. If we take and they take back, we can play f3, but never play f3. Here, bishop h5 is really good for black. So black is winning in this line. So, okay, so the answer is bishop f1 is a good move because it defends this, and you know, when they recapture the pawn, we can play knight c3, and our development is going to come pretty naturally, and we'll be fine here. I guess. Not an expert in the opening, but I think it's healthy to learn some things myself. So anyway, that is enough for today. I'll be back and continue with set 7 of the flashcards. Okay, bye.